To watch more videos and support our channel, Dalit Poetry and Literature, please subscribe.
Ramabai Ambedkar. There are some people who do not make much of their own deeds, but go on serving society diligently and selflessly. Matoshri Ramabai Bhimrao Ambedkar was one such worker. In fact, she had no benefit of schooling, but with efforts, she learned to read. And when her husband was abroad, she even wrote letters to him. Ramabai was married to Dr. Ambedkar when she was still a child, probably 9 or 10 years old. Ramabai's name before her marriage was Ramibai. She was the daughter of Bhiku Baba Valankar, who lived at Dapoli and earned his living through wage labor. Later on, after he died, she was brought up by her maternal and paternal uncles. Her paternal uncle looked after several fatherless children. The burden of running home fell on Ramabai's shoulder when she was of a very tender age, but she faced up to a situation of extreme economic hardship with great courage and never let outsiders know the trouble of her household. Most of her life was spent in Chaul, and she always had to live a life of toil. Towards the end of her life, she went on to live at Rajagruha in Dadar. Although she thus enjoyed for a short period a more comfortable existence there, she always drawn to her women friends in the Chaul. Ramabai was a close witness to the inspiring life of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar. She understood the importance of his work, and she took up much of the burden, working as Babasaheb's partner in order to bring about the uplift of the untouchable class. When Ambedkar had to find his way through endless difficulties, Ramabai's word of encouragement often served to steady him. She was always ready to give whatever help she could, so that Babasaheb could achieve his objectives and to sacrifice her interest for these ends. She ran her household in a manner of befitting the family's position in the society, and it was in her nature to help others. When their economic situation improved, she served meals to 11 or 12 untouchable students in her home. On 4th June 1920, Babasaheb went to London to complete his unfinished academic studies. The money he had left with Ramabai for household expenses was soon spent. Ramabai's brother, Bhau Sakharao Dhutre, and her younger sister, Gaurabai, were both wage laborers. From the 8 to 10 annas that Shankarrao earned as his daily wage, Ramabai would buy food in the evening and cook a meal for everyone. Ramabai would make four bhakris, one for Mukund, Babasaheb's brother's son, the second for her son, Yashwant, the third for Shankar Rao, and the fourth was shared among the three women, Gaura, Lakshmi, and Ramabai. Usually, there was only chutney or onions to go with the bhakri. Sometimes they would get to eat only in the evening, and that too not enough. Ramabai practiced the utmost fragility to run her household, to get cheap fuel for cooking. She would go out after dark and, taking Yashwant with her, walk from Koibawadi as far as Dadar and Mahim, carrying the load of firewood. The two would return by 9 or 10 at night. She went out after dark so that no one would see that Sahib's wife had to carry firewood on her head. On the days when Shankarrao did not get work, Ramabai, Lakshmi, and Gaura would go to Worli village at dawn and make cow dung cakes till 8 pm. In these difficult circumstances, Ramabai managed to do the housework, work outside the home, and also fit in the little study. Ramabai's natural endurance and courage was remarkable. This courage was tested at the time of Pune Pact with Mahatma Gandhi. While Dr. Ambedkar was engaged in negotiations with caste Hindu leaders regarding the Pune Pact, some caste Hindu ruffians lay in wait for Ramabai in order to harass her. They had planned to accost her when she left home to do her daily chores and beat her up. But Ramabai did not allow these despicable schemes to affect her and went on with her daily routines as usual. Ramabai was fiercely independent and proud. When Dr. Ambedkar had gone abroad for higher studies, she did not mind making cow dung cakes in order to manage her household. But she never borrowed money or borrowed a handful of flour from a neighbor's house. She was disciplined by nature and kept a well run and orderly home. Ramabai was ethical by nature and also liked to do social work, but she disliked publicity. She stayed with Balwantrao Warle in Dharwad for a couple of months in 1931 for health reasons. Her son Yashwantrao and nephew Mukundrao had also gone there with her. Mr. Hongal, chairman of the Leather Workers Society of Dharwad, once invited Ramabai for tea. Ramabai, who was known to everyone as Ai Sahib, was reluctant to accept, as an invitation to tea did not fit into her old fashioned upbringing in the Konkan. But she accepted in the end, thinking that her behavior should not reflect badly on Baba Sahib and his work. Ramabai was a woman of religious persuasion. She practiced penances and fast to bring success to Baba Sahib's work. She fasted every Monday and Saturday. When Baba Sahib was in London, she would sit alone praying for hours on the end. Ramabai identified herself with her husband's activities, and having resolved that she too should carry forward his work of liberating his people, she was prepared to make any sacrifice that was called for. Recounting a telling anecdote about her socially oriented and unselfish nature, Varale says, I was thinking about the economic problems of the boarding school. My worries showed on my face, and my behavior was also affected. I Sahib also noticed this and asked my wife, why is the master depressed? My wife told her everything. Then I Sahib gave me 100 rupees and told me, there is no reason to lose hope like this. Take this money for the present and buy grains for the boarders. Even after that, we can pledge my jewelry somewhere and raise whatever money you need. When Sahib returns, he will of course redeem my jewels. Saying this, she turned to her trunk to fetch her jewelry. Varale recalls that Ahi Sahib's selfless, affectionate, and straightforward nature enchanted everyone in his family. Selflessness was manifest in all her speech and actions. Among the activists, she earned the role of a mother, a respected place in our hearts. Her body worn away by great toil. Maharshi Ramabai took leave of this world on 27 May 1935. Not only Babasaheb Ambedkar himself, but the whole untouchable community felt a personal loss. Society benefited greatly from Ramabai's personal qualities and selflessness. Her chief virtues of endurance and unselfishness should be emulated by all. Babasaheb was fully aware of Ramabai's limitless altruism, her unconditional love, and her commitment. He writes in the dedication of his book Thoughts on Pakistan, written in 1945, inscribed to the memory of Ramu, as a token of my appreciation of her goodness of heart, her nobility of mind, and her purity of character, and also for the cool fortitude and readiness to suffer along with me, which she showed in those friendless days of want and worries which fell to our lot.